In this demonstration, we'll take a look at how to revert to a previous configuration within the Junos OS. As you make changes and commit those changes within the Juniper operating system, the device automatically archives those previous configurations. The benefit of archiving these previous configurations is that at any point in time, you can revert back to those previous configurations. Let's take a look at an example. First thing I want to do is go into configuration mode for my device. So I type in the edit command. Now, once I type in the edit command, what I want to do is show my system settings. So I type in show system, and you'll notice up top here that I do have my host name set to New York-R1. Now, another way just to display that setting would be to use the show command with show system host name. So it kind of filters out the information so that I'm just seeing the host name setting itself. Now what I want to do is I want to make a change to the host name. So I'm going to use the set command, and I want to do set system host name, and I'm going to set it to test1. Now if I want to show that, I'll use the show system host name just to verify that my change has taken effect. So you can see here, when I look at my candidate configuration, we can see that the host name is set to test1. Now you can actually see that it hasn't applied that host name yet, and the reason being is because I haven't committed the change. Now before I commit that change, if you decide as you make a bunch of changes to your configuration, this becomes what we call the candidate configuration. It hasn't been committed yet, so it technically hasn't been applied, but these are the configuration settings that you're working on. At any point in time, you can roll back to a previous configuration. So my last committed configuration, which has the host name of New York R1, I can roll back to if I wanted to. And you can roll back with the rollback command. Now, when you use the rollback command, you can also use your help feature. So if you use the question mark, you'll get a list of index numbers that can be used. So I can do a rollback 0, which is my last committed configuration, versus I can go back to rollback 1, rollback 2. So kind of working your way backwards. And the Junos OS by default will keep up to 50 previous configurations. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll back 0, which is my last committed configuration. And what we'll see here when I use the show command to show what the host name is going to be, you'll see that it's reverted back to New York R1. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set the host name. So I am going to change it, and I'll change it to test1, and I'm going to commit that change. So I've committed the change, and you can see that it has applied that configuration. So if you want to, at any point in time later on down the road, you can use the rollback command to revert back to a previous configuration. Now I can't use rollback 0 anymore, and the reason being is rollback 0 has my last committed change, which is the host name of test1, and let's say that's what I want to get rid of. So in this case, if I want to go back to the last committed change before the current committed change, then I would use rollback 1 this time. So let me give that a shot. So I'm going to do a rollback 1. Now before you apply that change or commit it, you definitely want to take a look at the configuration. So I want to do a show system host name so I can see what the candidate configuration is. It will set my host name back to New York R1. Perfect. So I do want to commit that. So notice that when you use the rollback command, you got to turn around and commit the candidate configuration. So in this demonstration, you saw how to roll back to a previous configuration within the Junos OS.